Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Gerber Scout Reservation's February webinar. I am going to say hello to you at this point with my video on, and then I am going to turn my video off because I'm having some internet issues here, and I think it'll work better if I turn it off. If anybody has any objections, please let me know in the chat. Chris, you can go ahead with the next slide, please. I'm not seeing the slides, Chris. All I'm seeing is adventure will begin in 57 seconds.
How about now, Mary?
Nope, I'm still seeing that same slide. We're at 57 seconds.
All right, I'm going to start it again. Let me try that. Hang on one sec.
Okay. There we go. I think we're all set. So my name is Mary Steck. I am the camp director at Gerber Scout Reservation, and I'm glad that you're all able to join us tonight. If you didn't hear me earlier, I am leaving my video off tonight because of some internet problems here, very likely weather related, but we'll have a better audio connection if I do that. Next slide, please, Chris. So tonight's agenda, we're going to cover just some things about our payment schedule, where we're at with that, camp scholarships, health forms, merit badge signups, planning for camp, and then I'll take any questions and answers that you might have. Next slide, please. So some housekeeping for tonight. All attendees are in a listen only mode. So if you have questions, please type them into the chat feature, and I will kind of check that after each little segment of the webinar tonight and answer those questions. Our webinar is being recorded, and the recording and the slide deck will be posted to the website in the next couple of days. So tonight, we're again going to review our legendary camp service commitment to you. Our commitment is that we, the camp staff, are dedicated to providing our customers and guests with a legendary Scout camp experience while participating in our life-changing year-round camp programs. We are committed to providing facilities, programs, services, and camp leadership that will consistently exceed the expectations of our customers and guests. We also pledge that our Michigan Scout camps will be safe havens for experiencing the best of the adventures and the values of the Boy Scouts of America. Our planning focus to make that happen is that we will strive to plan innovative programs that meet the needs of all Scouts, and one that will be provided by qualified and talented staff. We will work diligently to plan and implement a high quality food service program. We will continue to upgrade and refresh our facilities. And lastly, we will engage you, our leaders, in our process and the implementation of our programming. So the first thing we're going to talk about tonight is our camp payment schedule. We are up to needing to make our second payment due. Your first payment was due February 1st. The second payment is due by March 1st. And you can see on this slide when the third and the final payments are due. This is how you would go about making that payment. If you log into what you see in the orange there, scoutingevent.com, and those little things. You're going to click look up or look up your registration. You'll need your registration number ready when you do that. So due on March 1st is your next payment, your second payment, and that can be made either by e-check, and you'll need your routing number and your account number, or you can make that payment by credit card. Note that there is a convenience fee on every transaction that is non-refundable on your credit card. For existing registrations, an additional payment of $50 is now due for each youth participant that you have slotted in there. The camp fee due for new registrations at this time will be equal to $100 per youth payment and $50 per adult participants. What that means is that if you have registered and say you have 5 youth in and paid $50 for each, you'll for each of those 5 make an additional $50, which totals $100. So if you put new people in now that you haven't made a payment on, you're going to need to put in the $100 for each of those. Additionally, if you don't make your March payment, it says that we will result in the loss of your reservation unless you contact your camp director. If you are for some reason having difficulty making that payment or confirming those numbers and getting that payment taken care of, please let me know either by phone or via email, and we will work with you on that. But make sure that we're getting those payments in by March 1st and current. Next slide. So camp scholarships. If you were on the last webinar, you know that our camp scholarship program is a little bit different this year, and it's a little easier for parents to access. To be eligible, you have to meet certain guidelines. First is that a youth needs to be registered with Michigan Crossroads Council, and they need to be registered to attend any of our MCC Scouts resident camps. A separate application needs to be submitted for each scout requesting assistance. So if you have siblings in a family, each of those needs to be submitted on its own application. And assistance is going to be considered based on need and the unit's support of the mission of the Michigan Crossroads Council, including participation in the popcorn sale. Different from previous years, an application does not require a piece of that application to be filled out by the unit leader. A parent can do that on their own. Applications will be available from January 1st through May 30th, and the first round of awards will be reviewed after April 1st. That's the preferred submit by date. It is not the end date. If you have a family that signs up after that April 1st and wishes to apply, they should do so anyway. Families will be notified by a member of the Volunteer Scholarship Committee as far as any scholarships that they will be awarded, and they may only apply for one type of assistance. If you receive a camp scholarship, for example, you do not get the sibling discount, so they will need to make a choice at that point. And at the very bottom of the slide is where you can go to find that application for the scholarships. The next section we're going to talk about tonight are health forms. Effective January 1st, 2010, the only health form that our camps are allowed to accept is the BSA Annual Health and Medical Record. For all participants coming to camp this summer, they will need to have parts A, B, and C completed, and that has to include all the required signatures. The health forms are required of all campers, adults, youth, part-time adults that come for only a segment of the week. All will require the same forms A, B, and C. Sports physicals and other physical forms, maybe for an employer or something like that, will not be accepted. We need this to be on the BSA Annual Health and Medical Record. Participants that arrive without the proper health form will be expected to complete the form at their expense to be able to remain in camp. Both youth and adult campers will be required to go through a medical recheck at camp as part of the check-in process. This is not something new. It's the same process that we have done in years past. And to note that the annual health and medical record is valid until the last day of the month, 1 year after it was issued. For example, if you have a health form dated 6/21 of 21, it is valid through the end of June or June 30th, 2022. The next part we're going to talk about is merit badge sign up. For merit badge sign up, the process is the same, whether it's being done by the summer camp contact person or the leadership, or through the use of the parent portal. Once you have logged in, you select the name of the participant that you want to sign up for classes and then choose Update Info. The system will not let you sign up if you do not have the $100 paid for that participant and if the required information is not entered for that participation. When you sign in the individual youth, you will be required to add their personal information. And I don't know if anyone is seeing Sean's comment, but it's a biggie, no pods this year. So youth will sign up on their own. They will select their merit badges, whatever they'd like to go to individually. On the class schedule that will show at the bottom of their profile, click on Select Classes. And then you'll click on the classes that you want to sign the participant up for. The system does not allow you to sign up for a class that is already full. I have made arrangements on our Black Pug site that I will have a wait list going. So if a particular class is full, please put your scout on the wait list and we will see what we can do to accommodate their wishes. The system will also not allow you to sign up for a class that will double book the participant. For example, if you've signed up for a class that runs for a double session, you won't be allowed by the system to click on something that interferes with that or meets at the very same time.
How to add classes to your schedule. To select classes for a single attendee, find their name and click on Update Information. Find the schedule field on the form and click on Select Classes. Use the drop-down menus to see classes from a single catalog or period. You can also search for classes. You can view all classes to see additional information from the catalog. This includes the period and days of the week it is offered, the number of spots available if there is a limit, additional fees for the class, any additional periods it is offered, as well as any minimum age or rank requirements. Click on an available class and it will move to the attendee schedule on the left. As you add classes to your schedule, conflicting classes will disappear from the available classes on the right. To remove a class from your schedule, click on the class and it will return to the available classes on the right. Other classes offered during that period will become available again. Once you have finished selecting classes for that attendee, you can view their class schedule. You can print the attendee class schedule, and if you have selected merit badges, you can print blue cards as well. To see all attendee schedules, go to Additional Actions and select Manage Participant Classes. To make adjustments to their schedule, select the attendee. Once you have made your adjustments, click on Show Class Schedule to return to the previous screen. If merit badge classes are offered, you will find the blue card icon next to each attendee. As long as the attendee has been booked, they will immediately hold a spot in the class. If they have not been booked, you will need to complete checkout for that attendee. Depending on the event, you may be able to access reports. The reports may vary as they are managed by the council, but you may be able to find schedules and other helpful reports here. How to add
Chris, can you go to the next slide?
Can you see it, Mary?
I cannot.
Hmm.
So, and just so you're aware, the video, we could hear the video, but it did not progress through the video portion. It got hung up again. So hopefully we can put that video on the website so that everybody can see it. And I've also got someone in the chat who's requested that that link be available so that people can share it with their scouts and their families. And I think that would be really helpful.
How about now?
There, we're good. We're good. So I'm going to talk about the slide, and then I'm going to answer Scott's question in the chat. So we have a new daily schedule at Gerber this year. We are having 4 merit badge classes daily, Monday through Thursday. The 4 classes are longer, and we have included travel time in between them. This will help answer Scott's question. He wanted to know our reasoning behind that. Well, while we were trying to fit 5 classes in, we were losing merit badge time because it takes so long to travel from one side of camp to the other. So kids would sign up for a 55-minute class, but they would take 15 minutes to walk from that to the next class and therefore miss a half of their next merit badge class, which kind of backed up as the day went on. And so we made the decision as a leadership team that we needed to go with 4 classes. We've increased that length of time so that kids can get those classes completed Monday through Thursday and not have to spend extra time at night or on Friday to get their merit badge work done. And the other thing that it does is that that extension of time is going to allow classes to allow some time for them to apply the skills that they've learned. So instead of just quickly running through the requirements, they'll be able to learn the things that they need to learn and also practice those things with their peers and the other members in their class. So we have some special programs that you've probably noticed. We have the Lewis and Clark experience. It's a camp within a camp. When you sign up for that in the merit badge schedule, that is going to take up your whole schedule. This experience runs Monday morning through Thursday evening, and those participants will actually move out to Fort Clatsop and spend those 4 days there working on a series of merit badges that will be offered as part of that experience. The other classroom that you're going to sign up somewhat differently for is our High Adventure for older youth. That's how it shows in the catalog. That is our off-camp High Adventure program that will include things like canoeing, hiking, climbing, those kinds of activities, and they will be day long, Monday through Thursday. We have some new merit badges that we've introduced this summer. We always take a look at what have we had and what have we had for several years and what might we need to introduce that might be new. Out at our Ecology Center, we have included the Nature Merit Badge and the Plant Science Nature Badge with a focus on botany. That is one that has several options to complete. Botany is the one that is most conducive to learning at camp and that we can get done within the time frame that we have class. We've also added photography. If those students are signing up for photography, it would be good if they could bring a camera or their cell phone as they need to be taking some pictures. We will have some of those available at camp, but if they have their own, it would be nice if they would bring them. On our skilled trades area, we are including drafting. We are adding that to our welding and our metalworking. Drafting will be a half-day class that will give them a lot of experience with that merit badge and the skills taught there. And then we're going to pair that with some introduction to skilled trades, some hands-on introduction to electricity and plumbing and construction and finishing, very hands-on type of a class. And lastly, we are adding cycling to our High Adventure program with the focus on mountain biking. We need to have scouts bring their bikes and their helmets, and they will spend half a day out on our trails and area trails biking and completing that merit badge. We have also added additional sections to our most popular classes. Classes that in the past have run twice a day will now run 4 times a day. Specifically, that applies to our shooting sports classes. Those will all be running all day long, and several others as well. Next slide, please. So as you are thinking about where you need to go and be getting ready for camp, we're going to talk a little bit about the timeline for getting ready to camp. So between February 1 and March 1, that's right now, one of the things to think about is getting the leader's guide out to the appropriate persons. So your camp leadership is going to need the administrative and the facilities and service parts of the leader's guide, really the whole leader's guide. But your senior patrol leader could have the program portions and the camp program and what's being offered so they can begin to plan for what their responsibilities will do. You should distribute the merit badge offerings and prerequisites as well as that schedule to your scouts that are going and their parents so they can begin that process of selecting what they'd like to take. You need to collect $50 per youth camper, so you'll have $100 each that will be ready to make your payment on time for March 1st. And distribute all your health forms, camper release forms, DHS clearance forms to the adults and the scouts that will be attending camp. Just a quick note on the DHS form. This is the time of year that if you submit it now, you'll probably get a turnaround pretty quickly versus waiting till June when everybody who's going to a camp in Michigan wants to do it at the same time. So my suggestion would be to get it done now. Next slide. Between March 1st and April 1st, you're going to collect your merit badge selections from your scouts. Merit badge registration begins on Thursday, March 24th at 8 a.m. And as you saw earlier, you can, as a leader, make those selections for each of your scouts, or parents can do that within the parent portal. That is totally up to you. Again, before April 1st, collect the next payment, which is $125 per youth camper. Get your camp scholarship forms in by April 1st. And hold your final parents meeting to go over your summer camp plans and answer their questions. If you have it, distribute a gear list to scouts. If you're not sure what that needs to include, look in your leader's guide because there are some lists there that you can use and modify as they fit what you need to do. Next slide. Between April 1st and May 1st, collect a copy of each participant's health form and that release of camper form. We cannot return originals to you. We need to keep them now for 10 years. So please bring us copies because we cannot return them. My suggestion is if you have a person that is being responsible for collecting all of those, if they put them in a binder and put them in alphabetical order, that's really going to speed things up at check-in. You're going to collect your last payment from youth, which is another $125, and the final payment of $110 from each adult camper. If you have some adults who are going to come for part of the week, the daily fee is $33 a day. So collect that from your part-time adults and then make your final payment by May 1st. Between May 1st and June 1st, it's time to work on your transportation arrangements to and from camp. How are you going to do that? Where are you going to leave from? What time? Who's going to drive? Get all that set up with your family so you know what you're doing. Collect youth protection training certificates from your adults as well as proof of membership and their DHS clearance forms. My suggestion for your adults is staple that DHS clearance form to their health form. That way you'll know you have them all and it'll be easy for us to check them as they come into camp. And if you are an out of council unit, we need you to bring a copy of your council's accident insurance. If you contact your council office, they will be able to provide that to you. Next slide, please. 2 weeks prior to coming to camp, it's time for your SPL and your scribe to get your camp roster sheet ready to go. Again, confirm your final transportation arrangements, make sure everybody's on the same page. Inventory all your unit equipment that you intend to bring to camp with you so you know what you're bringing and you can be sure to go home with everything you brought. Set up and inspect your tents. Everybody is bringing their own tents again this year. It's a good practice to get them set up, make sure they have all their parts and pieces. I have a very small number of tents that we can loan out if there is a need. If you have a family that just doesn't have something, we can make that happen if you give me an email and a request. Make sure that all your required paperwork is together, that it's organized and it's ready to turn in. And if you have any special dietary needs, you're obviously going to fill that out when you get your registrations completed. But if you have concerns or if you have a parent who has a concern, as some of them do, please feel free to contact me by phone, by email. I would be happy to sit down and go over our menu and any considerations that we might need to make with yourselves or with parents for special dietary needs. And then if you have youth who are working on merit badges with prerequisites, have those prerequisites worked out ahead of time. Those slips can be signed by yourself or a merit badge counselor. That way our counselors know what they've done and what they have not done. A note from Sean in the chat: in the next few weeks, MCC will be sending out the link and the registration instructions for attending adults DHS clearance procedures. So watch for that. It'll be coming to you. Next slide. And then 1 week prior to coming to camp, again, confirm all of your paperwork, that you have it, that it's ready to go, and it's in a format ready to turn into us. You need youth health forms and release of camper information. Adults need DHS clearance letters stapled to their health form, proof of membership, and YPT certificates. Make sure your unit trailer is packed and everything's ready to go, that you have a camp roster ready to be reviewed and updated when you get to camp, and that all of your unit and camper reports are printed that you're going to need. I would print out for each scout his schedule of classes so you know where he's going and he knows where he's going. And also for your leadership, it's really nice if they have a list of everybody, where they're going and where they could find these scouts as each day progresses. Upcoming webinars, we do this monthly. Our next webinar is March 15th, and then followed by April 19th and May 17th. The link to those is on the Michigan Crossroads website, and you can register. Hopefully you'll join us for each of those. Each one will cover slightly different topics so that you'll have all the information you need to have when you're ready for camp. Next slide, please. So questions and answers. I have a question. What about hammocks? We allow hammocks at Gerber. Each campsite, if you've been there before, is tucked into the woods. We ask that you use large trees and you use webbing straps, not rope that will damage our trees. And we happily will have you bring hammocks to camp. I have a couple of other questions. Fridays. So the question is, we have moved our parent night to Friday. That will allow families to come in the afternoon on Friday. They can spend some time with their scout at camp. They can visit the different program areas. We will be having our flippin' chicken dinner for everyone. Parents can sign up and attend that dinner for a small fee and attend the Fire Bowl. And Friday's Fire Bowl, if you remember from last year, includes your participation. We'd like units to participate. The question is, what if scouts, families would prefer to take their scouts home after Fire Bowl rather than come back the next day? Again, as a leadership team, we have discussed that. I discussed it with several of our leaders in anticipation of making that change to Friday night. Our position is that that is up to you. If you are willing and wanting to release your scouts with their parents on Friday night, that is fine. I totally understand that there are people who drive quite a long way. Part of the rationale for moving family night to Friday night was that units that are driving a distance don't have parents that come midweek because they don't wish to spend all that time driving home, having to come back again at the end of the week to pick up their youth. So that is going to be a unit decision. I have also had units ask if we had objections to them checking out on Friday night after Fire Bowl. And on a case-by-case basis, I would be happy to discuss that with you. And I am not going to tell you that you can't do that. So that's a conversation that each unit leader and each unit can have with the camp leadership. The other part of that question is, are there any updates about the OA ordeal at camp this summer? And I do not have any more updates on that. I spoke with someone from our area OA this morning, and that individual did not have an answer for me yet either. We are still waiting to see whether or not we will be able to, or whether they are not planning to have a call out ceremony and when that would be during the week. Again, as soon as I know the answer, I will be happy to share that with you. I just don't know that information. Are there any other questions before we're done tonight? Okay. Yes, there is an additional form to fill out for dietary restrictions. You'll find that in the registration as you sign up your youth. Okay, Chris, this one says, this is probably for you. The link was there this year, but it went to a dead end. And we will make sure that we get that updated because yes, we need to have that form. And the sooner we get it, the better. And don't worry about all the questions. The more things that you ask, you know, it saves other people because they're wondering the same thing. So we will update that. We will make sure that that form is there and live and accessible for each of you to fill out for dietary restrictions. Anything else from anybody tonight? If not, I'm going to invite you to, if you have questions that come to mind or that you think of, please send me an email. You can find I'll just put my email address right here. Please feel free, oops, helps if I spell right. Please feel free to email your questions to me or give me a call and I will be happy to discuss them with you. And if that is all for tonight, have a pleasant evening and I will talk to you at least in a month, if not sooner. I'm looking forward to having you all at camp this summer. Thank you.